idea since there's not. Oh, great. Awesome. Magic.
So I'll welcome everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We can take our masks off up here.
Up here?
If you want. We can talk about it later. I'm glad to see you tonight to celebrate Shabbat with you. Not only is it Shabbat tonight, it's also Rosh Chodesh, a new moon. We say goodbye to the month of Kislev and hello to the month of Tevet. On top of that, it's also Hanukkah. It is so many things and so much joy today. Tomorrow morning is one of the few times in the whole year we take out 3 Torah scrolls from the Ark. Sometimes if there's triplets having a B'nai Mitzvah, we take out 3 Torah scrolls also. Or if we have to clean the Ark, it's important to take out 3 Torah scrolls to make sure that all the Ark is clean. But tomorrow is one of the few days we take out 3 for the sake of reading 3 Torah scrolls. We have so much going on. But it's just nice to be here. Nice to leave our troubles of the week outside, to leave all the difficulties and all the news outside, and to be in here to celebrate Shabbos, to celebrate Logan, to celebrate Hanukkah, and to sing together and to be together. If you have a Siddur in your seat back pocket, there's a blue Siddur. We're on page
12.
On page 12 is Yedid Nefesh, a love poem, and Rabbi Rachel will lead us in this on the guitar.
So I'm going to be jumping around a little bit, but there's one line that's going to be repeated several times, and that line is the very first line. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid Nefesh Av Harachaman. So this dearest, dearest, dearest soul, this greatest source of mercy. That's the chorus of this version of Yedid Nefesh. I'm going to sing a couple other lines from this big chunk of text, but it's going to keep coming back to Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. And when you hear that, or any of it really, feel free to join in. Feel free to join in. Or just sit back and let it wash over you. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Av harachaman. Yarutz avtach kamo haya, yishtachave el mol hadrach. Te'erev lo yedidutach, mino fetzuf v'chol ta'am. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Av harachaman. Ana el narifan ala, beharut la, noam zivach. Az titchazek v'titrape, v'haitzala, simchat olam. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Yedid, Yedid, Yedid. Yedid nefesh av harachaman. Av harachaman.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Rachel, for taking out the guitar and leading us in Yedid Nefesh to start off our evening. If you're in our blue Siddur, we turn forward now to page 16. If you're joining us online using that Siddur, we're on page 5. It's words of Shalom Aleichem, which welcomes in the Angels of Shabbat, welcomes in all the angels who take care of us over the course of Shabbos. Before we can welcome in the Angels of Shabbat, we welcome each other. So turn to the people around you. Maybe you know them, perhaps you don't, and say hi. Welcome. Shabbat Shalom. A pleasure to have you here. Hi, Rivka. We welcome up to the bima Mr. Steve to play piano and djembe and accordion and tambourine. And if you find an instrument in the room, he will find a way to play it. We're so lucky to have Mr. Steve here with us tonight to help bring in some musicality through our services. Page 16 or on line page 5 with Shalom Aleichem.
Turns out all of us have instruments with us. You have hands? Yeah. So I would invite you to clap, to snap, to hit your legs, to work with the person next to you and do kind of a high five rhythmically along as we do Shalom Aleichem. I know Mr. Steve is going to have, he's got some bells on his shoes. He's got a djembe. There's not a wrong way to do this. Let's all make some raucous and holy noise as we welcome in the Angels of Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzilchem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
What a nice welcome to the angels.
I say, if there were any sleeping angels, I think they're awake now.
That's wonderful. Romavu?
Romamu, yes.
We spend the week just trying to climb this holy mountain. Every week just trying to get higher and higher, climb more rungs in the corporate ladder, trying to get higher number of likes and followers, trying to just get more and more done each week, trying to get closer and closer to some sort of goal. And we get to the end of the week, and sometimes you feel like, really? Did I accomplish enough? Did I accomplish all that? What did I do this week? Is it worth anything? Did my garden flourish this week? Did my whatever you're making this week? I don't know. Did I finish the crossword puzzle? What are the things that you were hoping to do? Did you get high enough? Did you finish all of your homework? Did you do well enough on your test? All the things that you're trying to gain. And what if you get to Shabbos? What if you get to tonight? What if you get to this service and you look out and you go, this is the peak. This is what I was trying to get to. Forget if my goal on Monday was to get another 1,000 steps in, was to get more vegetables planted, was to get a higher grade on the test. This is where we are now. And to bask in that, to find that wherever you are sitting now is God's holy mountain. Wherever you got to this week is really good. There are a lot of forces going against us every day and every week, and sometimes it's easy, but sometimes it's hard. And wherever you are right now is a place of holiness, a place of godliness, a place of sanctity. And we're on page 30 in our Siddur, page 30, or if you're online, we're on page 20, towards the bottom of the page with the words of Romamu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki, your turn. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Let's try it again. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu shavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu ro'eu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu ro'eu.
All right, how many instruments do we have? Two? Is that guitar, piano, accordion,
You had
tambourine, djembe, some hand clapping? We got
Plays
like
piano
six.
too.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Now that we realize that where we're standing, where we're sitting, where we are right now is a place of godliness, is a place of goodness. It's time to now welcome in Shabbat. Really say Shabbat is able to come into our lives, that Shabbat could walk into the room right now. We would embrace Shabbat. And the best way to do it is to invite up our bat mitzvah, who's been studying for this moment for 13 years, to help lead us in Lecha Dodi. We're on page 38. If you're joining us online, that's page 23 in that Siddur. And we welcome Logan to lead us in Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad leshem ultiferet velitila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor ha'beracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavati la lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzei mitoch hafecha rav lach shevet b'mekabacha vehu yahamol alayich hemla lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat hitna ari me'afar kumi livshi bigdei tifartech ami al yad ben yishai beit halach mikorva el nafshi Ge'ala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat hitoreri kiva orech kumi ori shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lo tevershi velo tikalmi matishtachachi umatechemi bach yechesu aniyei ami venivneta ir altila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nei Kabbalat v'chayulim shisa shosayich v'rachaku kol meval alayich Elohayich kimsos hatan Akala lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat ne Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat ne Kabbalat Ve'ifrotzi ve'et Adonai ta'aritzi al yad ish bein partzi ve'nismecha ve'nagila lecha dodi likrat kala
If you're able, please rise and face the door where we walked in.
Lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat ne Kabbalah Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ela gam besimcha Uvetzachala toch elunei am segula Boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat ne Kabbalah lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat ne Kabbalah.
You may be seated. Thank you all for that moment when you stood and you greeted the Shabbat bride as she entered, as if she were entering. And thank you to Marshall, in case I forget to thank you later, for welcoming everybody as if they were each the Shabbat bride tonight, for welcoming us each into this shul tonight. How beautiful.
So on page 42 in our Siddur, we have the Sabbath Psalm. It's the final thing that we sing as part of Kabbalat Shabbat. And Rabbi, I just wanted to say, ever since what you said right before Romemu about how this point is like reaching the top of the mountain for the week, I've been thinking about how sometimes one of the most profound prayers that we can offer, or blessings we can offer to God, is just saying, this is enough. Yes, this life, this moment that I have, this is enough. I am satisfied. And as we prepare to sing this Sabbath Psalm, Tzaddik Katamar at the bottom, I'm struck by how simple it is. Righteousness, trees, houses, fruit, old age, things that maybe we take for granted or don't think of as being these great gifts. But it is enough. It is enough to live a life. It is enough to bite into sweet fruit. It is enough to be here and to say, yes, this is our Sabbath. So on page 42, 4 lines up from the bottom, Tzaddik Katamar. Online, I'm not sure what page they're on, Rabbi, perhaps.
On line 28.
28 online.
Thank you.
Please, join in. Tzaddik Katamar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yizkei shetzulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrechu od yenuvun b'seva deshenim berananim yiyun lehagid ki yashar Adonai Tzuri velo avlatabo.
We'll be talking about Hanukkah a lot more tomorrow. We've been talking about Hanukkah all week. On Sunday night, we're having a Hanukkah party here. It's one of those fun times that we weren't sure when we put out the invitation saying we're having a Hanukkah event here, what that's going to translate into. And as of now, there's about 250 people coming. God willing, we'll be outside if the weather cooperates with us, which it looks like it will. And for those who get cold, because we're in Los Angeles, and anything below 71 degrees is pretty cold, you can come on. We'll have room inside as well, but it's activities for all ages. We've got a lot of Hanukkah going on, and tomorrow we get to read Torah for Rosh Chodesh, for this new moon as that begins. I want to talk a little bit about the Torah portion that we'll be reading tomorrow. Trying something new. So I don't want to take any gratitude away from the people in my life, my parents and my friends and my family and my teachers, all the people who have formed me. But I owe a lot of who I am, I think, to Stephen Sondheim, who passed away a week ago today. I don't want to be histrionic or claim that his death is my tragedy. It's not. Despite living only a few miles away from him for my 4 years when I lived in New York, I never met him. I may have seen him in person, though I don't think that changes anything. But he helped me grow up. I imagine everyone has their artists, the Beatles or Wilco or Cardi B or whoever your poet laureate is, who speaks to your heart, who speaks to your soul, who helps you understand the world. I remember being a kid and driving with my dad and finally convincing him to turn off the news radio and put on some music. I wanted to be like the other kids who listened to music in the car. And it was a tape, and it was Send in the Clowns, and then it was putting it together, some of Sondheim's music. I've read lots of notes of gratitude of Sondheim this week, with people remembering the first time they encountered his lyrics. I don't remember the first time I encountered his lyrics. His poetry was always part of my life. Into the Woods and Company played on repeat in my adolescent bedroom, which is perhaps part of the reason I was not very popular. Those CDs gave me clues on how to be an adult. They tackled the complicated idea of growing up, of maturing. I've seen countless iterations of his show Company. Somehow his explanation of marriage, good ones and rotten ones, helped me get through my parents' divorce, made me understand marriage. My first play in college was A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, which I did at NYU. How grateful I was to feel like I was accepted somewhere as I was doing that play, and for there to be a non-singing role that was perfect for me. I volunteered backstage at the Civic Arts Plaza in Thousand Oaks, and I worked on such shows as West Side Story and Gypsy. I recall being in middle school with lyrics stuck in my head. When everyone else was quoting Dave Matthews Band or Rage Against the Machine, I quoted from Company. When a person's personality is personable, he shouldn't ought to sit like a lump. It's harder than a matador coercing a bull to try to get him off of his rump, which is a very complicated line. Those odd lyrics and amazing rhyme just tickled me. I liked the idea that the words personable could be rhymed with coercing a bull. My friends were singing the song that went, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, like a Polaroid picture. Or they also liked the song, so open up your morning light and say a little prayer for I, which rhymed light with the non-grammatically correct I, something that would make certain grammarians quite upset. And I sang Sondheim's perfect, odd, deep, mystical poems. As Into the Woods made me think about what it means to become an adult, and Company about marriage. Follies got me thinking quite young about what it means to age, to feel nostalgia, to question life choices, and to appreciate where I am and the road I took to get here. Gypsy made me think of the risks to take in achieving a goal. I know that Andrew Lloyd Webber has a lock on these parshiot as his musical Joseph retells the story that we read last week and this week and next week with a lot of fun and pizzazz. But I think the heart of it, the details of the characters, still feel like Sondheim. Andrew Lloyd Webber deals with the big moments. Sondheim tries to dig into the deeper emotions of small moments. Here are a few pairings of his words, and I debated for a long time if I should sing these or get somebody else to sing them, but it turns out they have taken out the Sondheim class at the Ziegler School and put in teaching Torah and other things that Rabbi Rachel is learning. And so I will read the words as I try to incorporate them and weave them through with the Torah portion. Joseph dreams that his brothers and his parents bow down to him. He runs to tell his parents, quoting from Gypsy, "I had a dream about you, Papa. It's going to come true." And it did. Joseph goes looking for his brothers to tell them his dreams. Dancing through the cornfields, we can almost hear him singing, "Could it be? Who knows? It's only just out of reach down the block on the beach under a tree. I got a feeling there's a miracle due. Gonna come through, coming to me." Joseph ends up getting sold into slavery, but Jacob thinks his favorite son is dead. Jacob is sitting at home mourning the loss of his favorite son, clutching his multicolored dream coat. He would be singing, "The sun comes up, I think about you. The coffee cup, I think about you. And do they know that I'm losing my mind? All afternoon doing every little chore, the thought of you stays bright. Sometimes I stand in the middle of the floor, not going left, not going right." Think of the heartbreak of that moment. And Andrew Lloyd Webber put a hoedown in the musical of Joseph. Then comes the scene with Potiphar, which I think we'll skip for right now, but it essentially lines up with Sondheim's musical Passion. Joseph ends up in prison, sitting with two of Pharaoh's servants. Joseph comforts them. More Sondheim. "Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side, but no one is alone." Knowing that Joseph can interpret this dream, Joseph is taken out of jail, and Pharaoh's people give him a haircut and new clothes so he can look perfect in front of Pharaoh. You can almost hear Joseph here singing, "I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and bright, and I pity anyone who isn't me tonight." Pharaoh, in his gratitude, sings his thanks to Joseph from Sweeney Todd, which taught me how to make pie. Just kidding. Said, "No one's going to harm you." You can imagine Pharaoh saying this. "No one's going to harm you, not while I'm around." Unfortunately, a new Pharaoh came into being a little bit later. Joseph reconciles with his brothers, helps them understand what they did wrong. And Joseph turns to his brothers and could be singing, "Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you, but you decide what's good." Joseph, in his genius, then put together his plan for how to save food across the massive Egyptian kingdom, how to make sure that all the people living in that expanse have food during the Great Famine. I hear him singing songs from Sunday in the Park with George. Every moment makes a contribution. Every little detail plays a part. Having just a vision is no solution. Everything depends on execution. Putting it together, that's what counts. The story continues, and it's a really fun game to play, and maybe cathartic to me this week, dealing with the loss of Sondheim and other tragedies. Despite not having written a show or a song in a very long time, and he never really wrote a hit like other people did, Stephen Sondheim has stayed relevant, especially in the theater nerd community. This month, you can see one of his shows, Company, on Broadway. You can see one of his shows, Assassins, off Broadway. You can go to the theaters and watch West Side Story or watch him being portrayed in Tick, Tick, Boom. And if you can find where they're shooting the movie Merrily We Roll Along, starring Ben Platt, one of his earliest works and biggest failures, that's being recorded now. And 2 years ago, I believe, Adam Driver got an Oscar nomination for singing Being Alive in the movie The Marriage Story. His legacy lives on for more generations to learn and to understand themselves and their world through his work. Stephen Sondheim taught me lessons and spoke to me directly through his poetry. Nothing was straightforward or sunny or easy to digest. Other songs that other people write are much more hummable, but Sondheim's words could stick to your ribs. Sondheim will be missed, but gladly he wrote enough that for people like me, and maybe one or two of you, you'll have that music playing in your head and those words playing in your head for a long time. And maybe his words or somebody else's words will get you through your difficult time. For those who are able, please do what Joanne screams at us to do in the song, The Ladies Who Lunch. Everybody rise. I'd like to invite up Heather and others from Logan's family to say the blessings at the candles for first for Hanukkah and then for Shabbat as we go into this moment. Other people in the family who would like to join them, anybody else who would like to join them up here in saying the brachot, the blessings over the Hanukkah and Shabbat candles, are welcome to be up here as well. All right, first Hanukkah. There's room over here. All right. First You can go back to your places. Don't take a seat, just go back to your places as well the music can go. The Ma'ariv service, the evening service continues, or really begins on page 50. If you're joining us online, we're on page 39 with the words of Baruch Hu. That's fantastic.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila. Adonai tzavaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamidim lo chaleinu, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Amen.
We turn the page to page 52 and find Ahavat Olam. But actually, before we sing Ahavat Olam, I just wanted to call your attention to the relationship between the blessing we just said and the blessing we're about to say. This very first paragraph after the Baruch Hu describes God's awesomeness, how God created the universe and everything in it, darkness and light, these amazing things. And then we kind of zoom in, we turn the page, and we read about Ahavat Olam. We read about this personal, intense love between God and us and in our tradition. We celebrate that love that is unique and everlasting. It doesn't take away from the awesome kind of love for the God that created night and day, the stars, the moon, and everything else. But it does remind us that Ahavat Olam is a love that is for us, It gets to be ours. We get to carry it with us. So please join in. Ahavat Olam is on page 52. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavata, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochveinu u'vekumeinu, נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם היינו ואורך ימינו
Tasir mimenu leolamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Amen Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinatam levanecha vedibartam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך Adonai Elohim emet.
We're about to come back together near the bottom of page 60. You'll notice there are moments in our service where we sing calm songs, and there are moments where we sing really wordy songs, and there are moments where we sing songs that kind of just make you want to dance. And Micha Mocha is one of those songs. It has that energy. It has that joy in it. Because if you think about it, if you can put yourself in the mindset of somebody with an army charging at your back and water ahead of you, and then miraculously that water splits and you get through, I think I'd be pretty happy in that moment. And we've tried to capture that happiness, that joy, that gratitude, that praise of God for miracles, things we really didn't believe in until they happened. And maybe our lives haven't had splitting seas, but I know my life has had moments where I was like, wow, I didn't think that was going to work out. And then it did. So try to think about what that must have felt like. Think of a moment where you were full of deep gratitude for how something turned out. And again, if you feel like clapping, if you feel like tapping, go for it. This is a great moment for it. Micha Mocha is halfway through the page on page 60. la lay, la 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 lay, la lay, ya nay nay, lay na 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 nay, ya na nay, ya nay nay, ya na 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 nay, ya na nay na nay nay. Mi chamocha bayalim Adonai, mi kamocha neder bakodesh, nora tehilot o sefele, nora tehilot o sefele, malechutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze Elianu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ereh, yanai na 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 na, yanai na na na, yanai na 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 na, yanai na na na, yanai na 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 na, yanai na na na, yanai na 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 na, yanai na na. ונאמר כי ודאדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Amen.
We turn the page and find Hashkivenu. If you haven't yet taken a deep breath this evening, I recommend doing so. This is a good moment to remember that no matter what has happened in the day, God is watching over us. To say thank you, to choose peace in this moment. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. ותקננו בעצה טובה מלפניך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. Help us, God, to lie down in peace and awaken us to life on the morrow. ושמור צאתנו ובינו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. I'd like to invite up Matthew and Heather Nordal to lead us in an English reading now, offering gratitude at this moment. One microphone or two? Okay.
With thankful hearts, we have come together tonight to join in worship and celebration. We are grateful for the impulse to worship, to reach beyond ourselves, to cultivate a mood of reverence and awe. We are grateful for the opportunity to worship, to assemble with our fellow Jews in accordance with the demands of our tradition and the dictates of our hearts and minds.
We are grateful for the freedom to worship, to reaffirm our beliefs and values as individuals and as a community. We are grateful for the ability to worship, for the health and strength to come into God's presence, to acknowledge our blessings, and to seek greater meaning in our lives. We are grateful for the days which have come and gone, and grateful for the hopes we cherish, and for the days which lie ahead.
Amen. Thank you very much. Beautifully done. We're on page 64 in our Siddur. If you're joining us online, we're on page 46, singing the words of Vishamru taken out of the text of our Torah to remind us to take one day a week to turn everything else off, to stop paying attention to the other things and focus on whatever you find to be most important. Have a day that you reserve to be special. Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בברית עולם. והני ובני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We invite Logan up here to lead us in the Chatzi Kaddish. We're on page 66, or online, page 46.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
ואלמד יברח ירתה וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דעת מאירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
Those who are able, we rise. The beginning of the evening prayer, a personal moment of meditation, begins on page 68 or 69. If you're joining us online, it's on page 47 online. Those who are following along with the Hebrew or the English in our Siddur, Should note that on page 72, there's a paragraph for Rosh Chodesh, which is today, and a paragraph for Hanukkah, which is also today. When you're finished with your personal prayer, you may again be seated.
Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav, say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, amen.
The inside back cover of our Siddur are the words of Misha Berach, a prayer of healing, a prayer of comfort for those who are struggling right now with physical maladies, with spiritual needs. We'll sing these words together.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe berach imotenu, mekor habracha le'olam. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Kaddish Shalem, ending officially the Amidah, is on page 86, or if you're joining us online, page 54.
Yitgadol v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
ve'almad yivarech yirtei, ve'amlich malchutei, v'chai chonu v'mechon, v'chai dechol beit Yisrael, b'gala u'vizman kari ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'lomei almaya, yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei de kudesha, brichu, le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechemata, damiram be'alma ve'imeru. Amen. Titkabal slotchon uvarchon, dechol Yisrael, kadama v'hon divishmaya ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
I'd like to take a moment now, we usually do this earlier in the service, to check in with you. If anybody has something positive that they want to share tonight, something happy, a birthday, an anniversary, a good grade on a test, a nice walk they took, something to share with us. Ava. No, mine was Logan, yeah. How wonderful, your best friend's becoming bat mitzvah. How wonderful to get to celebrate. And I really, really appreciate seeing people from this class coming. It's nice that for a couple weeks now, we're now fully in this class, and looking forward to getting to see you more over the next couple of weeks and months as we have more B'nai Mitzvah to celebrate. So that's wonderful. Others, positive things from this week. Some of us need it. Joan.
FaceTime with my granddaughter who's in Israel for 9 months.
Oh, how wonderful.
Also known as Beth's daughter. Well, I called it unFaceTime because the connection was bad, so she saw me and I saw a black screen.
Oh,
Still in all the thought.
it's pretty good. How's she doing?
She's a little homesick, but she's doing very well.
It's
I told her the reason she's so homesick is because she knows we love her so much and she loves us, and that's what makes the tie not be break. And she said she liked that thought.
That's a beautiful idea. Is there's so much love across these 10,000 miles. So how beautiful. I hope she's having a wonderful time and riding a camel to school and everything. So that was just one time. That's really beautiful. There was another hand somewhere. Heather.
Matthew and I are beyond proud and excited to be here with all of our family and friends, and my parents who flew in from Pennsylvania. So we're very blessed and thank you.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. This process has been so lovely.
I'm really grateful that my family and that has their fun and stuff very and just have a special moment.
How nice. You have good friends.
I really
Yeah. Logan Rose. That's wonderful. Yeah, Safta.
Tonight we have with us friends from Toledo, Judy and David Weinberg, visiting us for the weekend.
Well, hello, Judy and David Weinberg from Toledo. Toledo, Ohio or Spain? Welcome. How beautiful. I want to take a moment to embarrass our president and her husband. It is their anniversary, but they've gotten so close with Heather and Matthew and Logan over the last couple of weeks. They said, we'll put off our anniversary for a couple more days to be able to be here tonight and celebrate Shabbat with our community. So thank you, Sherry and Ron, for being here. I can't see you blushing under your mask, but I imagine. There you go. That's so nice. Ann, did you have something?
I work for many mansions, and we just hired a new vice president of resource development, and I was the person who recommended her.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, Mazel Tov on the new hire. I'll give two. I'm sure, it's been a distracting week for a lot of reasons. But one is, speaking of many mansions and some other organizations, we asked our community to buy gifts for those in need. And we have a number of organizations we've been working with for the last, many years, but the last week or two since Mitzvah Day. And our office was inundated. You couldn't walk through parts of our office because of how many gifts came in for many mansions, for senior concerns, for whatever the other organization. I think there were 4 organizations that we worked with to provide gifts for the holidays for people. And it was beautiful to have them in the office and to see all of this and just deliveries every day. And it's beautiful now that they're gone, so we can walk from the front door to the office without tripping on bags, but just how incredible it is. So that's number one for me. And the other one is I was dropping my sons off at preschool, I think it was Monday morning. And I usually drop them off and then I hand them to one of their teachers and I walk away as quickly as possible because otherwise my kids will call for me and then there's that separation moment that those of you who have been through that, maybe you had the same thing. And because I'm a celebrity here, I'm a pretty big deal among the preschool crowd here, mostly for my Sondheim singing, but also just for being the rabbi of the community, is instead of going to his teacher, some little boy who, between us, I don't know who this boy is, some little boy, about 2.5 years old, walks up to me and grabs my hand with that confidence of you're grabbing onto the hand of a trusted teacher. Not just a hello, good morning, but like I'm ready to go to class now, we ready? And so my sons went the other way and I walked this little boy to class on Monday morning. And it was just this really sweet, loving moment to get to walk this kid. And his dad was there, was like, all right, fantastic. And he did the quick walk away. So it was a very sweet moment for me. Irma.
I'm just so impressed by Logan for the way she stands and holds herself and smiling throughout all these prayers. And you have such poise. It's a pleasure to see you up there.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And she's had, for those who have upcoming B'nai Mitzvah, Logan's been coming on Sunday mornings and some Friday nights and other times, as Katya did before her, and as some others have done as well, to get used to this, to be comfortable up here, so it's not just the first thing you do for your bar or bat mitzvah is singing Lecha Dodi, which is not an easy thing, but rather to do it in front of 12 people on a Sunday morning and things like that. So it's been a pleasure working with you. For all of these good things, and hopefully there's many more good things that you have that you're holding on to right now, we say a blessing which ends with Hatov v'Hametiv, which means on all of the good things and for opening my eyes to the good things in the world. So if you'd like, you can join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hatov v'hametiv. Thank you, God. I'd like to invite the Silvermans up here now to first lead us in Kiddush. We're on page 90 in our Siddur, and we will hand the 3 Kiddush cups, one very fancy one to Logan. Ooh, yeah, we're good. Wow. There's a grape juice and a wine. You can choose who gets which one.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
You get the grape juice. Okay. Go for it. You ready? You want a cup too? Those who are able, please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahavat ratzon ibhilanu Zikaron Maaseh Bereshit Ki hu Yom Techila Lemikra Kodesh Zecher Yitziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu
already standing, which is perfect, because the next thing we're going to do is Aleinu, which requires everyone to stand. So if you are able, please remain standing.
And they're going to open up the ark for us.
And so Logan's grandparents are also going to open the ark. It's on page 118 for Aleinu. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו ופסולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת. Ein od, ein od. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated.
And we'll actually go backwards now to page 93 as we invite Roy and Fran to lead us in the blessings we seek, page 93.
Source of blessing, our guardian and hope, bless, we pray, all who are dear to us. Watch over them with your protecting love.
Bless the people of this congregation, grant them health of body and serenity of spirit. Guide them on the path of Torah and good deeds.
Bless our country, our leaders, and our fellow citizens. Keep us faithful to our heritage and freedom and justice. Help us to banish all suffering and strife.
Bless our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel. Prosper the work of their hands and minds, strengthen them, and grant them peace.
Bless our fellow Jews wherever they may dwell. Comfort those who are in distress. Deliver them speedily from darkness to light.
Bless all your children in every land and community. Unite them in understanding and mutual helpfulness. Hasten the day when all can rejoice in a world of peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can, okay, just, all right, little squeeze over there. And thank you to Roy and Fran and Matthew and Heather and Logan and Judith and all the people who have helped make this service possible tonight. With this service, we're coming to the end of the month of Kislev and beginning the month of Tevet. And this week, our community remembers the following whose yahrzeits fall this week: Aaron Friedman, Robert Schubert, Jacob Wenner, Leonard Krupin, Robert Miller, George Wren, Sophie Tenenbaum, Frida Waxberg, Leon Firestone, Beatrice Foster, Mark Ellis Goldberg, Rose Jacobs, Minnie Nussenfeld, Jordan Raylanu, Edith Kaufman, Alfred Levy, Helen Nelson, Hilda Presser, Ray Roginski, Charles Siegel, Adrian Sunny Sturman, Lois Wellen, Josephine Berman, Sidney Cohen, Alexander Kahn, Raleigh Gusson, Ludwig Lowenthal, Cecilia Pfefferman, Louis Prosson, Yetta Storch, Dorothy Weiss, Faye Barnett, Claire M. Pohl, Grace Mayer, Ellen Reitkop, Ann Ellen Reitkop, Mark Reitkop, Marvin Reitkop, Sharon Reitkop, Joseph Stern, Raymond Weisman, Isidore Finn, Alvin Goldstein, Harry Phillips, Cecilia Friedman, Sherry Ganstwig, Ann Geller, Catherine Spiro, and Sydney Sterling. May their memories be beautiful ones to their families and those who remember them. Other names to add tonight or memory? Anybody want to share a memory of who they're saying Kaddish for? Okay. Usually during the week we have people share a memory of a loved one, so I'm sure we'll hear more this week. If you are in a period of mourning, or if you're observing a yard site, you're welcome to rise. We're on page 124, or online, page 58. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divara kirute v'amlich malchute. V'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei omaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh. V'yit hadar v'yit alev v'yit halal shemei d'kurasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you all for being here. To those online as well as to those who are here in person. Hopefully online worked. I don't have a way of knowing. Tomorrow morning, our services are at 9:30 in the morning. We'll celebrate Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh and Hanukkah all rolled together. And then tomorrow afternoon at 4:30, Logan becomes 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. Thank you for correcting me. 4 o'clock. Logan becomes bat mitzvah up here on our bima. We'll be concluding around 5:30, somewhere in there. And so those of you who want to join us for candle lighting for Hanukkah and Havdalah, if you join on the Zoom, which should be online, around 5:30, you'll be able to join us in that way for candle lighting and Havdalah as part of the service. That's tomorrow. And Sunday morning, 8:30 in the morning, we have Shacharit service at 8:30, which is usually when we see Logan in the week, and my daughter gets to play with you and sit on your mom's lap, but we'll see if this week it might be a little bit different. And also on Sunday morning, it'll be the first Pidyon Haben that I've,
Wow.
yeah. For those of you who want to hear more about that, come find me after services. Or anybody else with a gold tag. If you see people with a gold name tag, it means they're probably on the board or a key volunteer here. So you feel free to go up to them and introduce yourself to them as well. A big thank you to Mr. Steve on all of the instruments. A real pleasure to have you here. A big yasher koach and kol hakavod to Rabbi Rachel. Thank you for leading our service tonight.
Yasher koach to you as well, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. And to our new microphones, thank you to our new microphones for making it so we don't have to talk directly
Should we
into
say
the microphone.
Shafianu?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so thank you all for being here. One last song, a nice Hanukkah ditty before we go into... We didn't do Motzi. All right, let's do Motzi and then a Hanukkah ditty. Logan, can you come up here and we'll do Motzi? So when we go into Spiegel Hall, as Marshall ushers us into Spiegel Hall, we can go right for the foods and the drinks. And for those of you who would like to make a toast, I believe there's a little station set up for a little l'chaim in the back of the room. Is that right? A little l'chaim in the back of the room. It's a Saturday morning tradition. It's a little bit early for Saturday morning, but it works just as well on Friday nights, I have been told. So we'll Motzi, and then we'll one last Hanukkah song as we are ushered out of this room. You ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lachem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
You want a piece?
Sure,
Okay,
thank
here
you.
you go. Take that one. Rachel, you want a piece?
Sure. Lamalo.
Anybody else want a piece? All right. We'll have more of this. This is the good stuff. This is the Canaan bakery. This is.
I'm ready. Oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Svivon to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Happy Hanukkah! Go on and have some yummy things in the hall.
This is a special challah. Extra sweet.